Hello and welcome all my dear 3rd standard students. How have you been? I hope you have been good, you are taking care of your health and also you are not missing out any of the science lectures. My dear little champs, as you were watching all the lectures, you might be knowing that in the previous lecture we have done chapter number 11 reading part and the hard words part. I also can hope that you might have written the hard words in the fair book. I know that lesson number 10 question answers we have not done in the lectures, but I am going to send you the PDF file for the question answers. So you will have to regularly check the WhatsApp. As soon as you get the PDF file for the question answers, you can complete lesson number 10 and lesson number 11 you can start by leaving 2 or 3 pages approximately. So these are few instructions which few students were asking me, so I have given in the lecture. Now what are we going to do today? Today we will start the reading and understanding the concepts. In the previous lecture we already have done the reading and the hard words. Today we are also going to understand the different concepts of light, sound and force, which is chapter number 11, light, sound and force. I hope that you all are ready with your books. As such, we don't need the rough book in this lecture. Still, in case if I ask you to write, read or understand any point, even I may ask you to note down any point. So keep your books ready for that purpose. Also, please make sure if you are having the textbook, it's better if you keep it with you. If you do not have, you don't have to worry, as I am going to display the textbook on the screen. I hope you all are ready now. Let's get started. So quickly take out your textbook, those who are having. Open page number 106, chapter 11. And please watch the lecture properly so that you can understand and clear each and every concept in your mind. I suppose now you should have taken out page number 106. Let's get started. Let me display the textbook on the screen. So, chapter number 11, light, sound and force. So, we have just read the textbook chapter 11 and have highlighted and written the hard words. In this lecture, you will understand light, sound and force, and we have already done this warm-up exercise in the previous lecture if you remember. So let's get started with page number 107, understanding light, because that is the first concept. Understanding the light. So let's get started with the first topic, understanding the light. Light helps us to see. The sun is the main source of heat and light on the earth. So though we are having many different sources to generate the heat to get the light from, but here it is written that the sun is the main source of all. Nowadays you also might have seen solar cooker, solar panel, solar water heater, many different things runs based on the solar energy, means the energy we get from the sunlight. Don't you think this is almost like a miracle, like a magic? Otherwise we used electricity on a big amount, on a big scale, but now many things, electric things are replaced using solar. So this is a great kind of achievement for mankind. If we are saving the electricity and are using the natural resource like a sunlight, it is a really very good opportunity for the human being and also a big advantage. So lights helps us to see. Now if you enter to the dark room, will you be able to see? No. As you have come from the light, as soon as immediately you enter in the dark room, for the few seconds you will not even be able to see even a small object. Then slowly, when your eyes are set, you are able to see, but still you are not able to see everything clearly. You need light to see, correct? So, on the earth, the main source of the light is sunlight. The sun, candle, diya, torch, tube light and lamp are examples of the object that gives off light. This is what we have seen in the previous lecture when we were solving the warm-up exercise. These are the sources, these are the objects from which we get the light. These are the objects which gives the light to us. So, fireflies that we see in the dark night also emit light of their own. Not only the sun and the stars, but also these fireflies. If you can see here, fireflies, correct? So, these are also the insects which emits the light on their own. They don't reflect anyone else's light or other objects' light. They generate the light on its own. So, here objects that give out light are called luminous. This is what you need to remember, my dear students. Please repeat this line with me. Come on, loudly and clearly. Object that gives out light are called luminous. I hope you repeated after me. Okay. So, in short, now you should know that what is luminous. If someone asks you that what do you mean by the luminous object, you should say that objects that gives out the light are called luminous. Do remember, however, that the moon only reflects the light of the sun. We always see the lit face of the moon. So, if you see at night, moon always is very much brightened. It is the face of the moon which is towards us. We always see it is lit up. Why? It does not emit the light on its own. It is the sun who throws the light on the moon, and the moon reflects that light on the earth. So, moon does not have the light of its own. So, it is not the luminous object. You need to remember this. Okay. So, paper, table, kite and bed are the examples of the object that do not give off light. So, these are the objects which do not give off the light. Obviously, these objects do not give off the light on their own, and also we are able to read the paper or anything. We are able to see the bed or kite or table only when we switch on the light. Objects that do not give out the light are called non-luminous. Just opposite to the luminous is the word non-luminous, and just opposite are the characteristics of both. So, I hope you understood by reading these paragraphs what is luminous and non-luminous. I also hope that you have now got an idea that which objects give out the light of their own and which reflects the light of the other objects. So, here one fact file is given. Let us read. The shade of the tree is actually its shadow. Obviously, when you sit under the tree, under the shade of the tree, the sunlight doesn't hit you on the head. You are under the tree, so you are safe from the sunlight. But the shade of that tree is actually the shadow of the same tree. The black shade, if you will notice now, it is the shadow of that tree. When light falls on any object, we can see it. We see non-luminous objects only when light falls on them. Obviously, if for example, if you have kept one pencil in your room and the room does not have the light, if you enter in the room, will you be able to see easily where the pencil is unless you remember where you have kept it? Obviously not. You need to turn on the light, you need to check 2 to 3 places where have you kept the pencil, only then will you be able to see the pencil. So, light is that much important in one's life. During the ancient times, when they were not having the tube lights or the bulbs, they used the candles, diyas, lamps. So, these things they used lantern. So, with the help of this they used to lit up their rooms. Now, moving on to the topic shadow. Have you ever noticed a dark patch on the ground when you stand outside in the sun or under the street light? So, whenever you stand under the light, now whether that light is a street light or the sunlight, you must have noticed that there is a dark object just in the opposite side of where the light is coming from. What is that dark object? That is your shadow, which is exactly in the shape you are, but not of the same size. So, the dark patch is called shadow. It is your shadow, correct? And now I hope that this is very common for you, the word shadow. Shadows are formed when an object blocks the path of the light from the luminous objects like the sun, bulb or candle. So, only the shadow is formed when the object blocks the path of the light travelling. That particular object gets its shadow on the opposite side from where the light is coming. Now, say for an example, here if you can see in the picture, this is the luminous object, this is the shadow. How is this shadow formed? Because this object, this boy, is stopping the sunlight to fall on the ground. So, sunlight is falling on the boy and eventually the boy's shadow we can see on the ground. This is how the shadow is formed. I hope now you got the idea what is shadow and how is it formed. So, sometimes shadows are smaller, sometimes they are bigger than the actual size. A shadow is always formed on the opposite side of the light. So, if you can see that here is the light and on its opposite side the shadow is formed. So, this is what it is said here, and sometimes shadows are bigger in the size, sometimes they are smaller in the size. If you can see here, long shadow in the morning, but if you see in the afternoon it is a short shadow, very small shadow of a same boy. So, like I said, that shadow is not of the same size of what we are. So, I hope you have understood what is shadow, how is it formed, on which way is it formed. So, let us go to the other page. Here is one activity which I will explain you. See students, the aim of this activity is to observe the change in the length of the shadow during the day. Like I said, and like in the previous page it was depicted that in the morning time shadow size is different, in the afternoon time the afternoon shadow size is different. So, how is this change happening? So, to observe this change, this activity is prepared. Now, here the materials needed for the activity are a long stick you will need, watch, measuring tape, notebook and pencil. These are the materials you will need, and as you can see in the picture, clearly how you can keep the stick is depicted. Now, how to do this activity? First step is, on the bright sunny day, set up a stick in the middle of the playground like this, as you can see in the picture. Measure and record the length of the stick's shadow at 3 different times of the day. So, at the 3 different times of the day you have to measure the shadow of the stick, that is in the morning, once in the noon and then in the evening. So at these 3 different times you have to measure the length of the shadow, not of the stick. Third step is write down the measurements in the notebook. When is the length of the shadow shortest? When is the length largest? That is what you have to note down. When is the length of the shadow down, black shadow, is largest, and when it is shortest, that is what you have to note down. Observation: the shadow is shortest at the noon. So in the afternoon time the shadow is shortest because sun is exactly on the top, and longer in the morning and evening, because during the morning and evening time sun is not exactly on the top, it is either on the left or on the right side respectively. So conclusion is the length of the shadow changes during the day. So during a whole day 3 times the length of the shadow changes. This is what the activity is meant to explain you. I hope you have enjoyed listening to this activity and you will try to do this activity. You can even send me the photos if you do this kind of activity, and even the videos if you want. I will really enjoy, and I can even share your videos and photos in your group with the name. So if possible, do that. Let's remember. So my dear students, let us solve this short and very much fun to do exercise. You will really enjoy it if you have heard this lecture from the beginning. You even will be able to solve this exercise easily. Let me zoom in the page for you so that we can at least see the question 1 properly. Circle the odd one out in each of the following. So 3 questions are given and the list of names are given, in which you have to see which is the odd one which does not fit in the list. You have to circle that. So let's get started. Number 1, sun, paper, kite, bed. These 4 things are there. Now you have to particularly decide that which group you want to make. Accordingly you can eliminate any one. Here you see sun, paper, kite, bed. So paper, kite, bed are non-luminous object. They do not give out the light, but sun is the object which is luminous. So sun is the odd one, it does not fit in the non-luminous list. Majority is the non-luminous, that is why sun is considered as an odd object. So I hope that you are also circling the answer. I am highlighting it in my way, you can even highlight it in your way. Just please make sure you send the photos after solving it from the lecture. Okay, I hope you have done by now. Number 2, bulb, tube light, plant, fire. Okay, which one is the odd one? Can you tell me, girls or boys? Bulb, tube light, plant, fire. Obviously plant here is odd one, because rest of the objects gives out the light. Fire gives us the light, tube light gives us the light, bulb also gives us the light. Only the plant does not give us the light. It is non-luminous. So first and second were vice versa in the terms of the criteria and the question if we see. I hope that you are also highlighting, students, don't miss out to write anything. Okay, number 3, shadow, long, short, noon. So here obviously noon is the odd one, because here they are talking about shadow. It can be long or short, but no other time is mentioned other than noon. Okay, talking about TF, true or false, let us solve it. Write T for the true and F for the false statements. Light helps us to see the things. Boys and girls, light helps us to see the things. Is it true? I'll give you time to think, come on. Only when light is there we are able to see the things. Yes, it is true. It helps us to see the thing clearly. So I will write T for true. Number 2, shadow is always black. Is it so, students? Shadow, have you seen the shadow? You must be saying, yes sir, we have seen while we walk on the roads or on the floor. So let me ask you, shadows are always black or they are of different color, pink, green, purple, blue? No, they are always black. So this statement again is the true statement. Let us place T here. Moving on to the third TF. The length of the shadow remains the same throughout the day. Come on students, here I am giving you 5 counts. Try to write the answer whether it is true or false. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here the answer is false. Why? Length does not remain same whole day. It changes, correct? This is what we have even seen. So true, true and false. Please check your answers. I will give you a couple of seconds. Okay, I suppose you have checked your answers. Let us move towards the next topic, understanding sound. Let us understand the sound. When we talk, we are making a sound. Our tongue helps us to make the sound. We hear sounds of all kinds with the help of our ears. This is very basic and general information given. When you speak, your mouth makes the sound. Obviously, we call it different languages, but exactly it is a sound which you make in the air, and the air helps to circulate the sound in the different directions. Our tongue helps us to make the sound. Without the help of tongue, we will not be able to speak. Only when the tongue helps us, we are able to speak different languages, different words, etc., etc. We hear the sounds of all kinds with the help of our ears. Obviously, ears are made to listen to the things. So different kinds of sounds we can hear by our ears. Now, if you strike a steel tumbler with a spoon, it makes a sound. Obviously, it is true. We hear various kinds of sounds such as the ring of the bell or telephone, the cry of baby, the bark of the dog. So these are the sounds we can hear in our regular life. Cry of baby, bark of dog, then phone, if phone is ringing, then we hear the sound. When we talk, we hear the sound, and whole lot of sounds are there. We can even say more sound makes the noise pollution on the earth. So some sounds are soft, example whisper. So when you speak in someone's ear like this very slowly, when you say, oh listen to me, I want to tell you something, this is called, students, whisper. You slowly speak to someone in the ear so that no other person is able to listen to that thing. That is called whispering. Some sounds are loud, example ring of the school bell. When you are sitting in the school, when it's time for you for the recess or to go home, how loudly the bell rings. Entire school can listen to it, right? Entire school can hear that sound. It is made so that's why all classes are able to listen to that sound. So that is why it is very loud. We need to keep it loud if we want each and every classes to hear that sound. Some sounds are pleasant. Example music. Pleasant means some sounds are very much good. We feel very relaxed. We feel very good by listening to some sounds. That are called pleasant sounds. So students, have you noticed sometimes the person who is speaking very loudly, you ignore talking with them because you get irritated by talking to them. Even no matter how much comedy, funny things they are speaking, no matter how much benefit or positive things they are speaking, if they are loudly speaking near the ears, you feel irritated at some time. So that is not pleasant sound. Now when we hear someone, when we hear someone's music, when we hear someone's voice, we feel very happy. That is called pleasant sound, good for the ears to hear. Some sounds are unpleasant. Example, the continuous honking of the vehicle. Now what is honking? Girls and boys, what do you mean by honking of vehicle? It is very simple. Beep beep. This sound the vehicle makes too when the driver blows the horn. So that sound is really very irritating if you blow that horn without any use, just to make the music out of that horn, which is famous nowadays. People used to make the different musics using the horn of the vehicle. First of all, it is bad for the ears. Secondly, it is bad for the battery of that particular vehicle as well. Moreover, they install different types of sound even in the horn of the vehicle, which is like worst thing. So these are the different types of sound. Some are pleasant to hear, some are like whisper which we speak in the ears. Some sounds are very much loud, like a school bell. Even if you listen to the roar of the lion, it is very loud, you can hear till 1 kilometer. So these are the different kinds of sound. Even you and me might be making different kinds of sound. Your voice might be different, my voice might be different. So this is how it is different for the different people. So we like to hear the soft and pleasant sounds. Obviously we don't like the loud noise. Sometimes we like the loud music, but at the certain time limit we even stop that thing, because our head starts aching continuously if the loud sound goes into our ears. We do not like to hear the loud and unpleasant sounds. We only like to hear the soft voice. Even in the classroom, you stay away from the people who are speaking very loudly. You avoid sitting beside them. Why? Because our ears and mind they want the pleasant and the slow and soft voice. So with this, my dear students, I pause my lecture till here for today. From the next lecture, we will continue from the noise. I hope you enjoyed this lecture and you have understood the concept, whatever is explained. Have a nice day. Goodbye.